You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host, who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong, author and cerebral palsy advocate, Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. This morning I have Caryn with me, and Caryn and I are going to be talking about not only her story, but her trials and tribulations as a special needs parent. And I want to say to all, and I'm trying not to call you guys, to all the special needs parents out there, I applaud you. I applaud you to all the caregivers out there. I applaud you. And it's just a struggle bus. So, yes, my little speech has something to do with today's episode. If kids fall into these interviews while Caryn and I are speaking, just let them, because the special ed system is getting screwed over right now. It will be continued to be screwed over. And I have another programming announcement at the end for all you guys who are listening. So I'm going to let Caryn take it away.
Thank you so much, Wynn. And I really have to tell you how much what you're doing resonates with me. And it is such an honor to be on your podcast. So thank you so very much for having me.
Well, you are welcome. Could you please explain to my fan base more about what you do?
Absolutely. So, hey, guys, I'm Caryn Rich, and I'm a wife and mom to 3 amazing kiddos. I'm originally a born and bred New Yorker, and I recently moved down south to enjoy a slower pace of life. One of my children is special needs, and she kind of works into my whole story. I'm an infertility coach by day, and I help women and couples through the infertility journey quicker while keeping their sense of humor, because I think it's so important to keep a sense of humor while you're going through something as daunting as infertility. And I work one-on-one with clients. I also have a whole bunch of different programs that I offer. And I'm really, really passionate about it because unfortunately, I myself had to go through the infertility journey for 5+ years. And it was a harrowing, difficult time in my life. It took everything out of me. Not only did I suffer from primary infertility, I suffered from secondary infertility, which included 5 miscarriages and the loss of a tube because I had an ectopic pregnancy. And at the end of the day, I finally did get pregnant with twins, but unfortunately, tragedy struck after that, and I lost my second son. And my daughter, the other twin, was born at 23 weeks, less than a pound, and she had less than a 5% chance of survival. And I willed that baby home. She spent 135 days in the NICU, and she is my everything. And I thought I had tenacity. This child is the epitome of tenacity, and she beat every single odd. And she has taught me so much about who I am and what I wanted to be and who I needed to grow into being. She is currently 8.5 years old. And she literally, like, in a word, if anybody would say, you know, what's the one word you would say about Olive? She always has a smile on her face no matter what. She brings light and love to everything she does. And she's had 30+ surgeries already in her short lifetime and has many, many more to go. And she has just taught me everything. So she is a very big part of my story. I, was very angry for a very long time after I lost my twins, one of my twins, and this terrible, situation happened. I was so angry with God. I didn't understand. It took me 5 years to get pregnant. And when I finally got pregnant with the twins, I felt like there was this answer to why I went through what I went through. But then how do you explain what happened? How I lost a child, and then I have one who has so many medical needs and conditions, yet smiles every single day. It wasn't until I was in my early 40s that after all of that, I found myself pregnant naturally after all of that with one tube, naturally, in my early 40s with my third child. And after this, it was very cleansing for me. And it wasn't until about a year and a half, 2 years ago that I realized that something was sitting on my heart. And what that was that I had life happen to me. Did not have life happen to me. I had life happen for me, right? So that this all happened for me. Now, of course, we can't say it happened for a reason. I don't believe I lost a child for a reason, but I do believe that that was part of my story and who I was meant to be. And ultimately, this calling on my heart to help other women through the infertility journey came to fruition. And I literally get out of bed every morning with a fire, because that's all I want to do is help other women through this journey, because I truly do believe that any woman can have a child. And that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I know I mentioned a lot of different things, but it really has made me change. I walked through one door when I was in furlough, and I walked out another, with this beautiful child who's taught me everything. And, just I am the luckiest mom in the world.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a miracle baby in more ways than one, because my mom, my biological mom, also had 5 miscarriages before she had me. So by the time she had me, it was at the end of her baby clock. And now I understand, piecing it all together, why her line was, I am only going to have one child and raise her well. And I understand why she, for the longest time, I didn't get that line. I'm like, Mom, and there were times in my life I wanted brother or sister to hang out with, and I'm like, okay, you say that line, and then piecing it all together, I now understand the line, because infertility is one of those icky subjects, taboo subjects. And so I appreciate the work you're doing, Gillen, to help women. And I presume you're not trying to bring disability into the world, but that's what happens when you have miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. Your final baby is going to be sometimes disabled. Sometimes. I'm not saying all the time, but I'm saying sometimes. So there we go.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I think that, it's really ironic that, sometimes, like you were saying, you wanted to have a brother or a sister and, it just wasn't happening. I actually had people say to me, why don't you have children? Why don't you have more children? And I think it's a very naive assumption to make that everybody has an easy time having children. So
Nope.
I think that's important to mention.
Nope. And because of my mom's infertility journey, I have decided not to have kids, because I know that infertility is in my genes, and I also know that lucky old me would probably bring another disabled human being into this world, and I don't want to do that.
Well, I think you're wonderful, and I think that whatever makes you comfortable, you absolutely should do. I think it should absolutely be your decision, but I think you're amazing.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. And now, if you had to move houses and only take 5 things with you for the exception of your family, what would they be?
Oh my goodness. Oh, you took away the most important things to me. I would say it is my water bottle, definitely my water bottle. My journal, definitely my thing that I write in all the time. My phone, because come on, we're all connected to our phones. Probably my AirPods, so that I could listen without driving people crazy. And oh my goodness, my last thing probably would have to be my laptop. Can you tell that I
Yeah.
work from home?
And your family, when I asked that question, because you automatically assume that your family can't come. Well, your family can. So
Right.
just just throwing that out there that when I ask that question, it's like if you have family and pets, they have to come with you because um, your Carolyn is working with a special needs child, and I'm presuming that special needs child needs her more than most. And so, what is your favorite book, and what is the title?
Okay, I'm a little embarrassed to share this, but promise me there won't be any judgment. So my favorite book, I have so many personal development books I love, but literally the first one that comes to mind is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, and let me tell you why. I know it is a teen romance novel, but when I was going through my infertility journey, those books literally saved my life. Being able to take myself out of the yucky situation that I was in, it transformed me. Not only did I read the books, I watched the movies, and I oftentimes share with my community, you have got to find your quote unquote twilight. You have got to find that thing that makes you happy and lights you on fire and takes you out, even for 5 minutes, from what's going on in the real world. So that's my answer. And I know it might be a little cheesy, but that's me.
Nope, nope. I take any books that I can. And so, for those of you, go find Twilight. Go scoot and find Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. And then, um, if your best friend had to write a book about you, Carolyn, what would the title be?
Oh my God, that is such a great question. Oh my God, that is such a great question. I would have to say it is what it is. That is what it would say, because oftentimes in my life, those have been words that have been spoken by me, have been spoken by other people. Like, kind of just have to accept it. It is what it is.
And then, what is your morning routine?
You know, right now, my morning routine kind of changes day by day simply because we're all home and I'm homeschooling and I'm working from home and my husband has stolen my office. So it's been kind of hard, but on a normal day, I will get out of bed at about 5:30 in the morning and I will write down in my gratitude journal my affirmations and my gratitude for the day, kind of look over my schedule. And that usually only takes about 15 minutes because, to be quite honest, I can't get up earlier than 5:30. I then start getting the kids out of bed at 5:45, getting them dressed, all three of them dressed and ready. We come downstairs. I will do breakfast for them and, get them ready to get off to school or start school. And typically, the middle of the day is spent, taking care of my home and working on my business until we do the whole thing over again when they get home. And then we do homework, we do dinner, we do nighttime routines, we watch a little TV, and then we just go to sleep and we start the whole thing over again the next day.
Do you have any questions for me? I know you do.
Yes, I do. I do. I mean, I love this opportunity to be able to ask you some questions because, I really, I don't need to keep, saying this and blowing smoke, but it's not. I'm so impressed with the young woman that you are. And, yeah, I'm an old fart, so I can say you're a young woman. So, but being a special needs mom, I always worry that I'm not serving my daughter well. And I was just wondering if you could share with me one of the most important things that made you who you are today, that what your mother did that made you who you are today, just to give me some inspiration from me and my own daughter.
Well, one of the things I have learned over the years, and I lost my mom in 2010, and I also lost my dad in May of 2019. Lost him to
I'm
a heart,
sorry.
and then lost my mom to meningitis. He wasn't fine. My mom was actually slowly recovering from a slow-leaking brain aneurysm. So,
Mm,
and for those of you that don't know what a brain aneurysm is, it's leaking of the brain, and it's very scary, um, and it was a whole interesting show dealing with that. Um, my dad got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and he was on his deathbed from the beginning. He got misdiagnosed, then got sent home, and spent at home for 9 days. um, 4 women were trying to take care of him, including my aide, who was working with me as my housekeeper slash my aide. 4 women: myself, my stepmom, my stepsister, and my aide were all trying to take care of him. That was a interesting show and a half. But my mom has always, my biological mom, and this has been instilled by my stepmom: keep trying, keep trying. If you don't succeed, try again, and keep trying, and just keep your head up above water. And what I keep saying to you guys is that the special ed system is getting so screwed over right now, and all these teachers are losing their jobs slash losing their minds slash everything else. But the main thing is, not only is the education system in general getting so screwed over right now, it's the special ed people that are getting so screwed over right now. I mean, I'm watching my crew disintegrate left, right, and center. I'm watching it on Facebook. I'm hearing it via the news. Not via news, but I'm hearing it every which way. And yes, that's why I'm becoming a journalist. And I just got a new job, you guys. I am now a consultant for Audubon, and Audubon, and the links will be in the show notes. Audubon does skincare, we do nutrition, we do basically to keep you guys healthy. And so when I say at the end of the episode, keep you guys happy, healthy, and sane, go check out my link to Audubon and see if you want to support me and all those others with neurological disabilities, because I'm trying to bang the drum about disabilities, and I am also trying to help give a shining light to those with disabilities. And so, yeah, I'm doing what I can along with my work with Audubon. And so I appreciate you guys downloading and sharing and financially donating and buying my books and everything else. And my website and my Audubon stuff will be in the show notes as well. And Caryn, I thank you for coming on Ask Win and sharing your story.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.